So, have you ever really thought about how we get our electricity 24/7? I mean, what actually happens when the sun goes down or the wind stops blowing? Well, that's exactly the puzzle we're going to solve today. And the answer is something called a hybrid energy system.
And yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? We all love the idea of solar and wind power. They're amazing, but they're not always on. So, how do we keep our world running when nature decides to take a little break?
And that question leads us straight to what you might call our energy dilemma. We want power that's on all the time, but our favorite clean sources, well, they just don't work that way. Now, there's a technical name for this problem: intermittency. It's just a fancy way of saying that wind and solar power aren't constant. And for our power grid, which needs this perfect, delicate balance of supply and demand every single second, that kind of unpredictability is a huge, huge challenge. So, what's the solution then? Well, it's actually not about picking one source over the other. It's about getting them to work together, like a perfect power team up. And that's exactly what a hybrid energy system is. The whole idea is super simple. You just combine two or more energy sources. Think of it like building an all-star sports team. You don't pick five quarterbacks, right? You pick players with different skills who cover each other's weaknesses. It's the same idea here. You create a stronger, way more reliable unit. All right, to really get this, let's use a little analogy that I think makes it super clear. Let's call it the workhorse and the sprinter. So in this power duo, first you've got your workhorse. This is your slow and steady, super dependable energy source that just runs all the time in the background. Then you've got the sprinter. This one's designed to jump into action like instantly, whenever we suddenly need a big burst of extra power. The workhorse takes care of what's called basal load power. It's basically the minimum amount of juice the grid needs, day or night. It's that constant, steady hum of electricity that keeps our hospitals running and our refrigerators cold. But then you have peak load power, like on a crazy hot summer afternoon when everybody blasts their air conditioning at the exact same time. That huge spike in demand is the peak load. And that's when we signal the sprinter to get in the race. So how does the team work? Well, it's sequential. The workhorse is always running, just chugging along, providing that stable base load. But the second demand spikes, the sprinter, which could be a natural gas plant or even a massive battery, kicks in instantly to handle that extra load. It's just a much smarter, way more efficient way to power things. Okay, so this isn't some far-off theory or a wild idea. This stuff is happening right now all over the world. Let's take a look at a couple of real-world examples. Some of the coolest systems out there are actually all renewable. Imagine pairing wind and solar together. It kind of makes sense, right? A lot of the time, when it's not sunny, it's probably windy. And when the wind dies down, the sun is often out. So by teaming them up, you get a way more consistent flow of clean power. Here's another really clever approach. Instead of building something brand new, some systems just add renewables to older existing power plants. This makes those traditional plants cleaner, a whole lot more efficient, and it cuts down on how much fossil fuel they have to burn. It's a win-win. And you want to know where these things are a total game changer? Remote places. Think about an island or a community way out in the middle of nowhere. Building power lines out to them can be incredibly expensive, but a self-contained hybrid system, it can give them reliable, affordable power. It's amazing. So let's just quickly recap the benefits of all this teamwork. You get much more reliable power. You use less fossil fuel, which saves money. You get the most out of cheap renewables, and you can even keep the lights on if the main grid goes down. I mean, what's not to love? All right, so after all of that, what's the one big idea that you should really walk away with from all this? It's simply this: the future of our energy probably isn't about one source winning. It's about teamwork. It's about combining the strengths of lots of different sources to build a power system that is way more reliable, way more efficient, and a whole lot cleaner for everybody. So the next time you flip on a light switch, just think about that incredible teamwork that's happening behind the scenes. And hey, if you like this simple breakdown, I'd love it if you'd subscribe to Energy Simply Explained for more. Thanks for watching.